Today is February 16th, 2021, and I can safely say if you live anywhere in the Northern Hemisphere, you are cold. Right now there's a polar vortex covering most of North America, so we thought it would be fun to try that physics trick where you throw boiling water into frigid air. But this experiment is the Arctic version of trying to fry eggs on the hood of a car. So here's our take on the classic throwing boiling water into frigid air. What's happening when you throw really hot water into really cold air? Actually, there are several frisky physical phenomena factoring in here, and we're going to ferret out some fun facts just for you. Frisky Physics Factor 1. Vaporize, to convert or be converted into vapor. The vaporization of an element or compound is a phase transition from the liquid phase to vapor. Hot water evaporates way faster than cold water. That's why if you have a glass of cold water sitting on your countertop, you're just going to see little pieces of ice floating around. But if you have a pot of boiling water on the stove, you're going to see vaporized water floating around at the top. So hot water evaporating much faster than cold water is part one of the equation that makes our experiment work. Frisky physics factor number 2. Saturation, the state or process that occurs when no more of something can be absorbed, combined with, or added. I used to live in Las Vegas, Nevada, which, as you know, is a desert. And there it is hot, sunny, and bright. In the summertime, it can hit triple digits, but people say it's a dry heat. All that really means is that there's not a lot of moisture in the air. But if you live in the southeastern part of the United States, you have a whole different kind of summer experience. There, people say in the summertime that when you walk out your front door, you take your second shower. That's because the air is humid, which just means that there's a lot of moisture in the air. But even though you can't see it, you can sure feel it. But whether you live in Las Vegas or South Carolina, cold air doesn't hold very much moisture at all. So dry cold air is the second part of our equation that makes our experiment work. Heat makes things expand. Like in the summertime when you hit the beach, you lay out your towel, you stretch out, and you soak up some rays. Cold, however, makes things contract and get close together and dense, like when you wrap your arms around yourself because your father locked you outside when you went to check the mail. What that basically means is that in cold air, the molecules are just so packedly tight together and dense that there's not much room left for the moisture to be added into the air. And that's our third and final part into the equation that makes our experiment work. Number 1, you have hot water evaporating really fast. Into number 2, cold air that is really dry. And number 3, where it's really dense and there's not much room for moisture to be added. And that's where you see the steam floating off into the sky. This experiment can teach us something about life. You've probably heard before temperatures being used as emotions. You can either be as cold as ice or boiling hot anger. And when we hold on to our anger, like putting water in a pot and putting it on the stove, it just sits there and simmers and simmers and boils until eventually it boils over and creates one huge mess. When our anger boils over, like water boiling over, people can get hurt. But with God's help, we can let go of our anger, just like throwing that pot of boiling water into the air, and be amazed at how fast it seems to disappear and float away.